Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Guess what I've got? It's not a new tent, it's a new sleeping bag. It's been given to me to try. So a big thank you to Biigloo, that's Biigloo as in igloo I think. They've given me this to trial. They're going to a Kickstarter campaign to get these off the ground I believe. But first impressions, big, heavy. It's got to be warm, but it's, yeah, just a wee bit heavy by the look of it. Come in a pretty heavy box to be honest, but I believe it's actually 1.8 or 1.9 kilos. Still an absolute bruiser of a sleeping bag. The big selling point about this apparently is a material called AEROGEL, which is inside this. I think it's laminated into it, maybe like a layer in the middle. And that apparently is the key to the massive insulation in this thing.
Lightest, that is least dense solid. This piece has a mass of just 1.22 grams. That is only a few times the mass of the same volume of air, which kind of...
Because to be fair, it doesn't look that bulky or lofty, although it's quite heavy because it's synthetic. But yeah, if it's got this aerogel layer in it, this is apparently what keeps heat and cold separated out and makes it so effective. So despite the -40 claims or whatever, I'm seeing there's some sort of, I don't know if this actually heats up and changes or how it works, but it's inside the lining of the sleeping bag. But it does say comfort level 26 degrees to 16, I presume that's C, 32 degrees being 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So
another way to make aerogel more workable is to incorporate it into composite materials like blankets.
Something that's in between silicone and silica.
That feels nice.
It feels very nice, doesn't it?
This feels like almost like a stuffed animal.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a new type of aerogel blanket that in the future we may find in something like an astronaut suit, or maybe even...
I quite like the way it opens with this zip that cuts across your shins. That's quite easy just to get in and out. It doesn't appear to have a shoulder baffle which you can cinch, though it does have a hood you can cinch. Other than that, very simple, nothing on it. There's no storage pockets. Looks to be some sort of box wall construction. There doesn't seem to be any cold spots in it, so I guess it's either a slanted box wall or maybe direct down, I don't know. But yeah, it's quite lofty, feels synthetic. Haven't told me anything about it. There's no instructions, there's no manual, so it's all guesswork at the moment. I'll try and find out what I can from the company. They're possibly just being secretive for good reason. It's not long out of the box, so it's maybe a bit unfair, but I just want to get an idea of the loft. The foot box is lofting to about 9 inches. The main body of it looks to be about there, 6 inches. Probably nearer 7 inches actually. If you look at their adverts or their social media posts, they've got one strapped to the back of a pack in the photograph, and it's ridiculously large. And to be fair, they've had a lot of criticism about it. Also worth mentioning, I guess because it's a prototype, it didn't come with a compression bag, it didn't come with a storage bag, and it really isn't many bells and whistles on it. It's a really heavy denier outer nylon fabric that's on it. It doesn't stretch at all, so basically I think it just won't give with your body much. But it feels very, very robust. I think it would take an absolute hammering, and because it looks to have a synthetic filling, I don't know if you can see that there, if you took a tear in it or whatever, it's not like down, it's not going to lose insulation, and would probably be pretty good in damp conditions. It's got a wee metal puller for the for cinching it around your head. On the foot box, just 2 hanging loops for hanging the thing up. But yeah, very, as you can see, plenty of loft in it, plenty of space for your feet. Right, I've rolled it up. Let's see if we can get a better idea of the actual weight of this. Yeah, 1.9 kilos. Bit of a bruiser. However, I'm going to pack it into a rucksack and just see how small it goes in towards the bottom. I don't think it has to be that big. Way too warm, but anyway, we'll give it a go. On the plus side, one of the things I quite like about it is the way it opens across your shins. So it makes it quite easy to get into. I'm just hoping that it doesn't produce a cold spot along here. But anyway, if it's as warm as they say it is, it's hardly the thing to worry about. So it's 7 degrees above zero, which kind of makes this a wee bit of a waste of time, but I'll still get a good idea as to whether how warm it is. So we'll give a wee overnight, see how we get on, and I'll report back to you in the morning. One of the things they do need to improve on it is it needs a stiffener behind the zip and the baffle, because it tends to snag. Okay, we're in. The zip really is a pain in the backside. Struggle to pull it up every inch, it just snags. That apart, I'm already very cosy, so off to bed, and I'll see you guys in the morning and report back then. Well, good morning everybody. Well, that was not much of a test. It only dropped to -5 degrees last night, so not exactly challenging for it. Needless to say, I was roasting. I had the shoulder zip up to about the shoulder level. Didn't bother with the hood at all because it was too hot. The only thing about that is without a shoulder baffle in this, which is missing, you can't really cinch it just to keep the cold air from going down your body without using the hood, which was overkill. So I'd like to see a shoulder baffle on it. The other main snag I've got, and it literally was a snag, is this zip. It really needs just a kind of stiffener at the back of the zip there to be able to pull the thing up, and also on the zip puller itself they could do with a cord so that you can use it with gloved hands or with one finger. It's just too fiddly with just the zip puller metal bit itself. But yeah, very, very warm. Probably up there with one of the warmest down bags I've tried. The foot box was excellent. The fit is quite tight. It's not so much that it's tight, it just doesn't stretch and give like a down bag. It's more like wearing a tight mattress. So you don't have that kind of stretch around the body. So for some people you probably find it's a bit tight. For me, it was okay, it was alright. I could spin around in the bag and keep the bag flat, just and no more. It seems to be a synthetic filling inside. I don't think it's down, it doesn't feel it down. It feels like synthetic. And then I guess somewhere in there is a layer of what they call that aerogel. I could really feel the heat bouncing back at me, a bit like when you're sleeping on the extern mat, you really feel reflected heat coming back at you. So it feels very like that, almost like a foil liner. So I guess there is an aerogel layer in there because it really bounces that heat back at you. I was absolutely boiling in some points. So the elephant in the room when it comes to this thing, bulk and weight, we're talking 1.8 kilos. And when I packed it in my pack, without a compression stuff sack admittedly, which it doesn't come with at the moment because it's probably not a production item, so to be fair to them. However, it takes up half my pack. So yeah, it's brilliant to have a sleeping bag that might well go down to -40. But the trouble is I want to test it, and as you can probably imagine, I don't really want to pack it in my bag and lump it all the way up to the top of a mountain. So to me, it's a great winter bag, maybe for sled expeditions or Arctic expeditions, or maybe in a boat, for instance, if you were doing some fairly wild boat travel. But anywhere where you don't have to carry the damn thing. It seems to be they may have missed the target here slightly. If it was much lighter and maybe rated to -10 or something like that, it would probably be a much more useful all-rounder using aerogel fabric or aerogel material. So yeah, for me it really is the elephant in the room, literally. So anyway, interesting. I'll probably try and get this tried again in some really cold winter conditions. Hopefully, I think we're turning chilly again this week. Hope to get back out. I'll try it then, see how it goes. If you get any questions, drop me a line. It's an interesting one. As I say, I think they're going for a Kickstarter campaign. The company is called Biigloo. I'll put the link on the screen and below. Have a look at it. I think they're going to retail about $189 roughly, which is cheap, I suppose. But again, you have to consider, are you going to be carrying this thing on your back? If you are, I don't think it's feasible. If you're in a vehicle, a boat, you're sledding, whatever, anywhere where you don't have to physically carry it on your back, then yeah, well worth looking at. Anyway, it's been an interesting one to get my head round. Have a look at aerogel on the internet. It's a strange material, and I don't quite understand how they get it into a layer inside the bag. Anyway, so maybe somebody will explain that to me in due course. But we'll do another video and I'll tell you how I get on in colder conditions. Thanks again for watching. Cheers just now.